So Spec Driven Development has completely changed how software engineers work in the last 6 months, but I haven't seen a lot of cloud or DevOps engineers taking advantage of this. So in this video, I'm just going to run through GitHub Spec Kit and how I'm using it as a site reliability engineer to spin up projects and manage them using Spec Driven Development. So that took a bit. It collected a ton of information. It doesn't usually take that long, but I'm kind of glad it went and got all the AWS docs that it thought it needed. And now you'll see it's updating our spec and our plan. So we can see the changes here. Basically filled in this template now of what we're trying to build. Here's some research. That's interesting. So basically here's all the things that it looked up on AWS to make sure it covers. And then now we have a plan. So what you'll see broke down exactly what it says here. So break down the feature set based on the requirements and the technical approach. And it's now created the plan of action for what we're going to do. So now that this is stopped, we are going to ask the clarification question. And you'll see here it does this like ABC thing a lot. So we'll say option A, data tier, we'll do Dynamo. I'm just going to say ignore the domain and ACM actually, because I don't have that set up with a domain in my account that I own. Account model, use one account, not two. Let's see, primary regions, only use US. Actually, no, we'll do that. Regions are good. KMS, let's see. You can do CMKs per, wait, actually, no, it's only one account now. So one CMK. And then replication, yes, logs bucket for the replication. Okay, so that's good. So we'll clarify that. And then from there, it might update some of our spec again. And then once that's done, we should get into creating tasks. Okay, so we just updated all of our files to make those changes now, everything that we basically clarified. So let's create a, oh, not plan. Let's do tasks. So let's create all the tasks required to meet our plan. And now we'll go through. It's going to reference those plan documents and create the task. So you're probably thinking this has been a lot of setup. Like just taken longer than usual, I'll say, but I'm glad how thorough it's being. That's something I've noticed with GPT-5 versus something like the Claude Sonnets. Claude will just start writing right away and it takes a bit, whereas GPT thinks for a really long time and then it writes super fast once it's done thinking. So basically going through all this, it's going to, again, thinking right here. We'll go through all of our requirements to meet this spec, and then we're going to create tasks, and from there, we'll start building. So it's working on this plan right now. It looks like it's just about to start writing out the tasks. Sorry, not plan, the tasks. So once this is done, it'll probably write them. And the next step, there's two things. So one, kind of deal with the clarify. You can analyze for consistency. So you'll see basically, hey, now that we have these tasks, let's check the tasks versus what the plan was. Make sure that there's no kind of hallucination, anything that's wrong there. And then we can move forward. I'm going to skip that for now. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. But what you'll see now, we have our tasks.md, and it created these tasks here. So T1 through 6, and then 7 through 19, all the way down. Wow, there are a ton here. This type of thing, I have not actually seen anything with 75 tasks. The most I've done is like, and sometimes it takes a couple hours even to just work through it. It'll prompt you and it'll say, can I fetch this URL? Can I run this command? You have to keep allowing that, especially if you don't want to allow everything. But now we have our tasks and everything we want to do. So we are going to implement, and let's see. Yeah, the implementation plan by doing the tasks in order. So I'm just going to end this. It's summarizing conversation. I don't really care for that. So we're going to start this now. Like I said, this is going to take a really long time, and this is not anything production, so I'm not going to go at all the way and do this. It would take up a lot of tokens, unfortunately, which I don't want to use. So this is going to take a super long time. I'll see how much we get done, how quickly, if we're going to wait all the way through, or if I'll just show you some bits and pieces of what this is generating, and you can get the idea from that. But this is basically the summary of Spec Kit. So we are now building out our Terraform based off of all of this documentation basically that we have, our specs, our .specify with our constitution, all of that. We should see here now, once this is done, it'll start creating our Terraform and everything else that needs to go with this for our web app to meet the requirements that we set. So that's kind of the main way to do it. The only other thing I would add here, so specs, basically how you see this, again, should be mapped to branches. So once we're done this feature set, which is kind of odd because this is like our initial commit, once this is done, we would commit that into a main, And then if we want changes from there, we create a new spec based off of that with a new branch and work off of that. So we can create multiple specs and we upload these to our Git so that if we're multiple team members working, we can all work off the same thing, just like normal Git workflows. But we now basically have a source of truth for our code being the source of truth to our infrastructure, but our source of truth for the code is our new spec. So that is the new way that I've been developing and is blazingly fast versus anything else. Even like using Claude Code or Gemini CLI, it's really good for DevOps engineers because you get the CLI integration, but this is just next level. So I just want to point this out. I hadn't heard of this up until recently, and I have been using it all the time now, getting as much experience as I can because this is absolutely going to change how development works, especially for DevOps, cloud, site reliability engineer, anyone that's doing that kind of infrastructure development. This is a massive shift that I don't see many people making yet. And so again, this is going to run for a super long time, I would imagine, but we'll go in here. So you'll see it already created the app. It's an app.py that's going to be running on ECS, has a Docker file with it. We have our environments already, and this looks like just structure, all of our module structure, and it's again, it looks like it's starting on the security. So it's going to go through and create all these modules, create the environments for the Terraform, sync up to deploy it. You can ask it to give you a CI/CD pipeline or a GitHub action. It will do all of that. You just have to give the requirements and it will build that out. It is really powerful. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll link the repo in the description if you guys want to follow through and build this out or go try this on your own, really. Like I said, I just prompted ChatGPT, but if you have a project that you need to work on, please go do it. And by the way, you probably just saw we just generated all of these files so quickly. So yeah, this is going to change development. Absolutely. So first off, if you haven't heard of Spec Kit before, like I said, it's about 6 months old. You can see it has almost 60,000 stars already. That's how massive this has been. So what this is it is basically a wrapper around whatever LLM you're using that defines spec driven development with inside of it. So I'll show you here in a bit how it creates these templates, but basically we'll initialize a project and it'll create templates to work from. And then we can drive requirements to build our infrastructure or code, whatever we're doing. But in this case, it'll be infrastructure and CI/CD. One other thing, so SpecKit will work with any, or at least a large majority of the big LLM providers that you're going to be using. The other option is Kiro. They kind of started the spec-driven development space, and they're closed source, so you can use them. You have to pay directly for them versus your own choice of LLM, where I could use Gemini CLI, Claude Code, or Copilot, whatever you really want to use, whereas this is just Kiro's closed source. So I wanted to shout them out, but we're going to use SpecKit here. So you can go right to this link. I'll put it in the description, and you can install SpecKit. All you'll do is run this command, uv tool install, and then from there, you're good to go. So now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do specify init, and you'll see I call this AWS exam, and now it gives me my option of what provider I want to use. I'll use Copilot for this one so that I can go right in VS Code and press that, and there we go. It's initialized. So now I'm going to cd into AWS exam. And then if I do ls-a, you'll see we added a .git and a .specify. So I'm going to do code dot and open this up. Just drag that over. And so what we do now, if we look inside of here, is we will see, like I mentioned, there's going to be some templates. So one, we're going to have a constitution. This is the source of truth. So if you work in infrastructure as code, code's always source of truth. This is kind of changing things because now your spec becomes source of truth. You still obviously need state management for source of truth, but really interested to see where this goes in the next, say, 3 to 5 years if we end up changing more so to just spec driven and the specs are requirements, and that's all that matters. From there though, so this is our constitution. You'll see this is a template that basically we can fill in. You can go through and manually do it, or what we'll do is we'll use the LLM to do it for us. So this is basically, here's all of the requirements that our project needs, and we have to meet this at all times. So always go to this for our source of truth. Now in here, you'll see there's some scripts. I'm not going to go through these, but you can get what they do based off that. And then templates. So there's a couple templates that basically are, again, MD files, the LLM, how to use these files. So it's saying like, hey, when I give a task command, this is what you do. When I give a spec command or a plan command, here is how you handle that. So what you'll see down here, actually, if I go to agent, I have all these new commands. So SpecKit analyze, checklist, clarify, constitution, etc. these commands are like pseudo commands basically just because it reads through these templates and it knows what to do from there. So we'll get to that in a second, but what are we going to work on? So over here, I just used ChatGPT. So I basically said, hey, I'm studying for my AWS Architect Professional and I want to do a hands-on lab. Can you give me a lab prompt with all the requirements? So this would be the point that maybe you meet with a team member that you're building out a new project, or you want to initialize it for a current one to start maintaining it this way. The first thing is requirements. The most important thing is gathering clear set requirements that define what you need to do. That is everything. So that's why a lot of people say this is going to replace engineering. You still need strong engineers that can convert the business requirements into clear technical requirements, or at least requirements that can drive this code. You don't need to necessarily say, we're going to use this code base, or rather this language, whatever you want to do. But the ability to break these things and communicate clearly what you need is very important. So what we see here is our lab. Let's see, I haven't even read this yet. So it'll be a multi-account. And I did that because I want to make sure this was a true practice. Like, you guys, this is raw. I didn't plan this, and we'll see how good this works because I'm sure it will. So we have a lab. We're going to do multi-account, private, highly available web app. Let's see, Terraform only, use remote state with locking. If this is multi-account, I don't want to do that actually. Okay, I'm going to skip the accounts. I'm going to do everything else. So here, we're going to just copy our architecture requirements. So I'll copy these straight out of here. Here's deliverables, acceptance, and yeah, do the extra credit as well. So I'm just going to copy this out, go back to VS Code, and this is where we're going to create our constitution that is the source of truth for this project. So I'll use GPT 5.2 here, and I'm going to go ahead and do Spec Kit constitution. And then let's actually make this bigger. But okay, move my camera out of the way before we get started here. So here's our constitution. I'm going to say below our requirements for a new project I'm building, can you break down these requirements and define our constitution for this project? So I'll do that. I will paste this in, and we'll give this a couple seconds here. So what we'll see here is it goes through, it reads our specify templates, and then converts it into requirements, and then it's going to update our constitution. So it reads all the templates first, and then goes through the constitution. So now if I open up this constitution, let's make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to just keep all these changes. So you'll see that keep button. I should have shown that. It's separate from Git. So we do have changes in Git here. Oh, there we go. But we can also undo from this. So it's like another layer of protection. So I will keep all of that. It's still working, actually. Okay. What you'll see here, so we had that template that I showed prior. Now we are actually filling this in. So here's core principles. It's saying, hey, we need all of these. It must have these modules. We must use Terraform. It's non-negotiable. Let's see, network segmentation. You have to use this CIDR. So basically, everything that we had defined, or ChatGPT had wrote for us for requirements, it's now putting that in our constitution. That is like, hey, you have to do this. There is no option except to do this. Refer to this whenever you make a decision. That's kind of the idea behind Spec Driven Development. Okay, we are done, and here we go. Let's see, least privilege, no SSH, KMS everywhere, auditability. So now that our constitution has been done, we are going through and we're going to do specify plan. So I will say create a plan for our build out with, or we'll say based on the constitution. And so we're basically going to run through these at every time we want to make a change. And you'll see here in a minute, it'll actually create a branch for us and do all of that for us, where we go from constitution, then we create a plan based off that constitution from what we currently have to what we're missing and what's going to reconcile those changes. And then we create tasks from those plans, or from that plan, and then we execute those tasks in order. And you'll see here now, so it actually just created a branch. So we're on 001 AWS Foundations, and we're going to continue on now with these to set up the plan. Okay, you'll see here, it didn't actually fill them in. It basically told me it's going to fill them in. So sometimes it does this where it's like, hey, I'm going to do this thing, just kind of need to go ahead. So it said I'm going to fill in the spec and the plan, but it hadn't actually done it yet. So I just said, okay, go ahead, and now it's going to make those changes. But what you'll see down here, so now we have the specs folder, and in here we have our branch that we're working on. It's not tied to the branch, but it's the same name, where this is the feature basically, or the spec. So inside of here, we have our plan and we have our spec. So basically For this feature set, what are the requirements that go on the spec? And then from those requirements, what's the plan of action? Looks like it's asking to check some docs. So I'm just going to go ahead and allow that. And so once this is done, we'll go through our plan. I'm going to get my next prompt ready. So we actually don't want to do tasks. So what we'll do next is clarify. So basically we're going to say, okay, created the plan. Are there any questions you have before we actually go on to creating tasks that can be done by the LLM? So I'm just going to say, are there any questions or clarifications needed on the current feature set? So this is still pulling in a bunch of content. Once that's done, we will go ahead and run this clarify.